Rosalind Franklin. Don't worry if you've never heard of that name before. You're not the only one, and there's a reason for it. She was a British scientist born on July 25, 1920. She studied physical chemistry at Newnham College, and after her graduation in 1941, she received a fellowship to continue her research in Cambridge University. However, due to World War II, she had to serve as a London air raid warden, and later on in 1942, Franklin gave up her fellowship so that she could work for the British Coal Utilisation Research Association and investigate the physical chemistry of carbon and coal for war efforts. She used this research for her doctoral thesis and received a doctorate from Cambridge University in 1945. One of her two most important discoveries was on the structure of viruses, which provided a base for the field of structural virology. The other one, which I will be talking about right now, was on the molecular structure of DNA. She used X-ray diffraction methods to study the structure of DNA. X-rays are a form of light with way shorter wavelengths than the kind of light we see. When these rays hit a substance, usually at the atomic or molecular level, they scatter around and provide an insight on the shape of the substance. DNA is known to have a dense sugar phosphate backbone, and when the X-rays hit this backbone, they scattered around, forming some sort of an X shape. However, Franklin did not publish her work right away and tried to prove her findings with mathematics. This is when everything got a bit too complicated. James Watson, another scientist working on the structure of DNA with Francis Crick, visited King's College where Franklin was working. Franklin's supervisor, who she did not get along with too well, had the brilliant idea of showing Franklin's image of the X-ray diffraction, also known as Photo 51, to their visitor Watson. James knew that the glimpse at an image would not be enough to prove their discovery of the double helix structure and needed numbers that backed up this claim. Franklin unintentionally provided them with these numbers when she sent a brief informal report to Max Perutz of Cambridge University. Perutz passed this report to his colleague Sir Lawrence Bragg, who was the supervisor of, guess who? James Watson and Francis Crick. The report Franklin sent was not confidential, but it was still dishonestly used by Watson and Crick without her approval. With her insights and Crick's previous research, the two men reached the conclusion that DNA had a double helix structure before Franklin did. They created a physical model which Franklin was invited to see, and she immediately agreed that the model was correct. The model was published as solely the work of James Watson and Francis Crick, and Franklin's work was separately published as supporting data. Before she could learn the truth to the story, Rosalind Franklin died of ovarian cancer in 1958, very much likely because of the high frequencies of radiation she was exposed to while conducting her research. After her death, when going over her research journals, it was found that she had guessed many other things that are now known to be true about DNA, and the interpretations she had made were genius and backed up by marvelously done calculations. 4 years after her death, Watson and Crick earned a Nobel Prize for their work on the structure of DNA. However, now that the truth is unraveled, I cannot stop myself from urging everyone to remember that Nobel Prizes can still be awarded to dead people to honor their work, and that Rosalind Franklin certainly deserves one.